Hello and welcome back to our crochet make along. We're now on to our penultimate step, and for our No Shades of Grey now, we're going to be adding our finishing touches to our body. In this step, we're going to be adding the finishing down the front and along the bottom. So let me show you a closer look at our finishing elements. Our crochet rib along the bottom and our really nice single crochet rolled edge, which just finishes our garment so nicely. So for our edging, we are going to work a rib along our bottom edge, and this is worked by doing single crochets in the back loop, working in this direction. So you're working this way along your work, and then we'll be adding this really nice rolled single crochet edge. And this is folded back over and it gets a double layer of thickness, and it just gives a really nice weight and finish to the edge of our work, and it emulates an I-cord join. So we're going to start off by giving first our cardigan a full row of single crochet around the inside opening and the bottom edge to start before adding our rib. So let's kick off with adding our bottom rib. You want to grab your yarn and your crochet hook, and I'm going to take you through how we add this along the edge of our work. So to start your edging on your crochet cardigan, we first want to work a single crochet row around the whole edge of your piece. I'm going to be showing you on a single block, but you're going to be working on your full body of your cardigan. So you want to join in at the center back of your neck, and we're going to be working a single crochet along the edge, and I'm just going to show you how we do that. So we're going to start off with our slip knot and put that on our hook. And we're going to join in, and you can join in with a slip stitch or you can join in with a single crochet. I've joined in with a slip stitch. And you want to be working one single crochet in each stitch along your edge. So working into the top of your stitch, you're working one single crochet along the edge of your motifs. And this just gives us a nice continuous line to work in when we're adding our rib and we're adding our single crochet rolled trim to the front of our work. When you're working over any motifs where you've got your double crochets along the edge, like our corner block square, remember you're going to follow the pattern. So you're going to single crochet over the post, then single crochet into the top of the stitch, and single crochet over the post and into the top. Top of the stitch, over the post, top of the stitch, over the post, top of the stitch, to evenly work along your edge. You can single crochet in the chain space corners of your diagonal block and then work into the top of the stitches across the block. So over your diagonal block join, we're going to go one single crochet in the corner chain space, one single crochet in the next corner chain space, and then go back to working in the top of your stitches along the edge. So we go into the corner chain space, and then we're working over the sides of our double crochets in our corner block square, so into the top of the stitch, and then over the post, into the top of the stitch, and then over the post. Through the stitch and over the post. If the top of your stitch is really tight to work into, you can put 2 single crochets over your double crochet post. You just want to space this so there's 2 stitches for each row of double crochet. And then working along in the top of the stitch. And when you get to a corner turn, edging your cardigan, in your corner, you're going to want to put 1 single crochet, 1 chain, 1 single crochet in the same space to turn. And then go back to working 1 single crochet in the top of your stitches along your entire edge. Once you've given this nice line around the edge of your cardigan, you're going to want to fasten off, and then we can begin starting our rib. So once you've added your single crochet border, our 1 round around the whole of your piece, we're now going to begin our rib. I'm showing you on 1 block, but you want to imagine this as the front opening of your cardigan and your bottom edge. So I'm first going to take my piece, and we want to join in this corner stitch. So I'm taking my yarn, I'm placing that on my hook by doing a slip knot, placing it on our hook, and we're taking our piece and we're going to join in here. So I'm going to spin this round. And so on your cardigan now, this would be your inside opening front edge, and this would be your bottom edge of your cardigan. We want to join in that corner stitch, so we're going to take our hook, go in that corner and join in. So we do that by grabbing the yarn from the back, pulling through to the front and pulling through everything in a slip stitch. And now we're ready to begin our rib. So to start our rib, we want to first chain 10 stitches, and you just want to make sure that you're chaining these quite loosely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the reason that we've chained 10 is because our rib is worked in a slightly different direction and will zigzag along the bottom of the piece. So this is the depth of our rib. So I'm now just going to rotate my work and I'm going to do my first row working back into my chain stitches. So we want to miss the first stitch, so you don't count the stitch on your hook. We want to miss the first stitch and we're going to single crochet into the next stitch along. So we grab it, pull through, we've got 2 loops, wrap, pull through 2. And we want to single crochet 9 stitches along. So we've done our first. So then I'm going to work into the next stitch and do my second single crochet, into the next stitch and do my third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. So your 9th stitch should take you back up to the main piece of your cardigan. We've got our first row. We want to anchor this to the body of our cardigan. So we're going to go 1 stitch up along the edge. So 1 chain up, and in this stitch, we're going to place 1 single crochet. So take your yarn, pull through, so you've got 2, 1 single crochet to attach. And then we're going to move up, so we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch along. And this is the next stitch along on your cardigan. So into that single crochet edging, we're doing 1 more single crochet to get our height up, because we're now going to take our work and we're going to turn it. So I'm just going to fold it inwards. So I'm now on the back of my row. So we're now going to work along the back, so on the wrong side, working down our rib that we've added, and this is where we begin to start the rib stitch. So we want to miss the 2 stitches that we've single crocheted into the edge. So we won't be working in the first stitch, which is our direct stitch below, or the second stitch, and we're going to begin on our 3rd stitch. And we're now going to work our single crochet through the back loop only. So if I turn this to face me, you can see the little plaits, the little V's of the stitch along the top. So we're missing our first 2, 1, 2, and in the 3rd, we want to go just through the back loop of the stitch. So not through the whole stitch like we've been working previously under both loops, but just through the back loop of the stitch. We're going to do 1, and then we're going to work that stitch, so single crochet in the back loop along our whole row. So we should have 9 in total. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've now worked across, and you can start to see that there's a little ridge effect, and we have this line along our row, and this is just the front loop that we haven't worked into, and that's what gives our rib the ridged effect. So I'm now going to take my work and I'm going to turn it back, and so we want to chain 1 for our height, and we're single crocheting through the back loop only along this row. So we want to work 9 single crochets. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get into that 9th stitch. And then we need to anchor it again to the body of our cardigan. So we do that by working a single crochet in the next stitch along on the body. So our last row was anchored in here, so I'm going up 1 stitch. I'm going to single crochet in there to join. I'm going to single crochet in the next one along to get our height for our next row. And then I'm going to turn my work back to work back along on the other side. So I'm missing my first 2, so 1, 2, and then I'm working single crochet through the back loop only for 9 stitches. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'm going to chain 1 for my height, turn back, and now I'm ready to repeat that. So I'm working 9 single crochets along this edge through the back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and now I'm ready to anchor again. So I'm going into the next free stitch along my edge, doing 1 single crochet to anchor, then 1 more single crochet to get the height for my next row. I'm going to turn back and follow that repeat. So I'm missing the first 2, so I'm missing that first stitch, second stitch, and in the third I'm starting my single crochet through the back loop and I'm working 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'm ready to turn my work and repeat that. So I'd start by doing 1 chain and then my single crochets across. And you can start to see your rib forming. And you get the little grooves and our mock rib in single crochet. You're going to want to repeat that along the whole bottom edge of your work, ready to then add our front single crochet rolled edge. Now you've added your crochet rib to the bottom of your work, we're going to add our single crochet rolled edge along our front opening of our cardigan. So grab your yarn and your hook and follow along with me. So now we've completed our single crochet rib along the bottom. We're now going to work along our central opening. So I'm obviously showing you on a single block, but you will be working on the opening of your cardigan. We're going to be working a really nice single crochet rolled edge, which will just give us a really lovely finish. So I'm going to take my work and I'm starting at the bottom edge and I'm going to work along this row. And so for working on your cardigan, you're going to be working along the edge and then round and back along the other side. So we want to start by taking our yarn and putting it in a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to join in that first stitch on the bottom edge of our rib. So we're joining in along in line with that bottom edge of our rib into the first stitch. I'm going to join in with a single crochet. So I've joined in, I've got 2 loops on my hook and I'm going to wrap and pull through both to join in. So I'll go through that one again. I've got my loop on my hook. I come into that first stitch, through, grab my yarn, pull through to the front. I've got 2 loops on my hook and wrap and pull through both. We're now going to work along our edge And this time we're working single crochets, but we're going through the front loop only. So when we were working our rib, we went through the back half of the stitch. We now want to go through the front loop only. And we're going to work one single crochet in each stitch, going through the front half of the loop only. And we're working along the edge of our rib into each stitch. And then as we get to the main body of our cardigan, we're going into our single crochet row below, working into that front loop only. So you're going to want to work all the way along your front edge, working single crochets into the front loop. And when you're working onto your cardigan, you'll go all the way along this side of your opening of your cardigan, around and then back down. So you're working from one front corner of rib to the next front corner of rib, repeating that single crochet through the front loop only. Once you've worked your way along your row to the end, we're going to chain one to get our height, turn back along your work, and we're now going to work a single crochet through the stitch. So this time we're working through the whole top of the stitch, but you can start to see where we worked through the front loop. We've got a little ridge here and that line of stitch. And we want to make sure that we leave that. We're not working into this now, because once we've finished adding our single crochet rows, we're going to use this little loop ridge to anchor our piece when we fold it. So just make sure when we're working back across your row, working your single crochets, that you're going into the top of the stitch. You're working through both loops, through the top of the stitch, and working all the way across your edge, working one single crochet into each stitch, all the way along. Once you get to the end, we're going to turn your work one chain to get your height, and then we're going to continue working back across with our single crochet, working one single crochet through the whole of the stitch into each stitch all the way along. Along your straight edge of your cardigan, you're working one single crochet into each stitch. What your edge will have, which my sample doesn't, is the bend to come back along the other side of your front opening. From row 3, you're beginning to be asked to also, in that bend, work a single crochet 2 together. I'm going to demonstrate how you do that stitch just in this part here. All that this works is it helps pinch 2 stitches together and helps with the curve of your seam. To work your single crochet 2 together, you'll work the first part of your single crochet into the first stitch. So you'll go through your stitch, grab your yarn, pull through to the front, and you've got 2 loops on your hook. And then rather than wrapping and completing your single crochet, you'll go into the next stitch and you'll grab your yarn and pull through to the front. So you have a total of 3 loops on your hook, and then you'll wrap around your hook and pull through everything to close it. And this pinches 2 stitches into one, and that's what you're going to want to use on the fold, the bend of your cardigan. So where your centre back meets and it comes back around the front. You want to continue following the pattern, working your single crochet rows for the amount of rows asked, and then fasten off. Now I've completed all the rows I needed to work in single crochet along my edge. I've fastened off, and we're now ready to fold this over to create our single crochet rolled edge. You'll be able to feel like your crochet work is sort of sticking up slightly, and that little bend is from where we worked into the half of the loop, the front loop only, and we've still got the back loop on our inside. So I'm now going to take my piece and show you how we fold and roll our edge. You want to start on the right side. So you're on the opposite beginning where you fastened off. So just make sure you're on the right side of your work. We're going to turn and we're going to fold that edge over. So we're folding our edge over and we're going to use that back loop that we've still got along the inside to help join our pieces together. So I'm going to have my work, so I've got the inside facing me. I'm taking my yarn, I'm placing on my crochet hook using a slip knot. And then we're ready to join our pieces. So to join them, we're going to be working through the back loop only of our last line and slip stitch joining it through the back loop that we left on our front first row. So we're coming through your back loop and so for your first stitch, make sure you're not using the short end and you're working with your long end. We're going to work a loose slip stitch. So we're taking the yarn from the other side and we're pulling through and then pulling through the loop on our hook. So I'm folding my edge together and I'm working through the next stitch. So I'm going through the back loop only of my last single crochet row. And then I'm going through the corresponding stitches back loop that we have free from our first row. So I've got both of those on my hook and I'm going to grab my yarn, pull through those and pull through the loop on my hook, doing a loose slip stitch. You want to make sure that you don't work your slip stitch too tight because you want a little bit of stretch still with your work. So I'm taking my hook, I'm going through the back loop of my last single crochet row and then going through the loop, the back loop from my first row and working a loose slip stitch. And I'm going to continue that all along my edge. Through the back loop, Just keep folding your work along. You can line up those stitches with your back loop. Continue working a nice, loose slip stitch along the entire row. So you can now start to see your single crochet rolled edge take shape, and you're going to want to continue that along the whole edge. So folding over our single crochet rows and joining them with our loose slip stitch through the back loops to create this really nice flat seam on the inside and this nice sturdy rolled edge, which just gives a really lovely finish to the front of your cardigan. And there you have it, the two finishing aspects of your piece. How exciting! And we've only got one step left. I really hope you enjoy working on this next part of your make along. Just remember to keep sharing your progress with us by using the hashtag #NoShadesOfGreyMal. You can also tag me, Katie Jones Knit, and Hobby in your pictures. And don't forget our Facebook group where you can follow along, sharing your progress, tips and tricks with other makers also making the mal. We've also got a special competition for 10 lucky winners for those who post a picture of their finished cardigan by April the 30th on Facebook or Instagram. Just make sure to tag the No Shades of Grey Mal, myself, Katie Jones Knit, and Hobby on your posts. So see you next week for our final part. Woo!